Chevans music, and today we're doing something called beginner guitar talk. So I'm going to teach you a bunch of easy beginner songs. We're going to have some cool discussion. I got Instagram here, I got YouTube here, Facebook here, everybody's here. I can see all the comments. Thanks. Got several people watching on Instagram. Really appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that. So again, we're talking guitar talk today. Be sure to drop any guitar stuff you have in the comments. I would love to speak with you about that. So while everybody's kind of filing in here, I'm going to teach the first song today. So the first song we're going to look at today is Demons by Imagine Dragons. We're going to use our capo up on the 3rd fret. So I'm going to put it up there. Here we go. Capo on the 3rd fret. And we're going to be using some really great shapes. We're going to start with a C shape. First finger is going to go on the 1st fret B. Second finger is going to go on the 2nd fret D. Third finger is going to go on the 3rd fret A string. Strum from the A string down. And that's your first chord. Now, if you're new to guitar and you're new to chords, right? If you're new to the whole thing, try taking your hand off and see if you could put that chord back. Look at that. Try to keep your hand in the same shape, like just lift it off and see if you can put it back. This is a great way to incorporate muscle memory while you're playing. Take it off, put it back, take it off, put it back. All right, so let's try this. Let's go into the next chord. We're going to go into a G chord. Really great movement here. We're going to take our first finger off. Our 2nd and 3rd finger is going to go down, right, is in pitch towards my face here. We're going to put those 2 fingers down there. Add your pinky up on the high E string, 3rd fret. Strum all the strings. So we got to a G chord. And then we're going to go to an A minor. First finger on the 1st fret B. 2nd and 3rd on the D and G strings, 2nd fret. So strum those. There we go. And then we're going to move out to that F major 7 over C. Take your 3rd finger off, move your 2nd finger up a string, there we go, and add your 3 and 4 out here on the 3rd fret A and D strings. And then you just start over. 2, 3, 4. So if you're just now joining us, this is a guitar talk. So I'm here to answer your questions. If you have any beginner guitar questions, just throw them in the comments. I'd love to see them. I got Instagram here, YouTube here, Facebook is here. So if you have a question about guitar, throw it in the comments. Instagram's kind of ticking pretty fast. So if you have an Instagram question and I don't see it, maybe put it in there a couple times. Maybe I'll see it. So let's keep going. Demons by Imagine Dragons. Let's go over that strumming. To a G chord. Out to an F major 7, 2, 3, back to C. Now, let's look at the strumming we're going to do here. We're going to go down, down, up, up, down, 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 up. All right? If you see, that's what's written below each of the little chords on that teeny tiny thing. It's tiny on my screen. Hopefully, it's a little bit bigger for you. Down, down, up, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, up, down, 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 up. Question from Instagram. Hari VP says, how can I avoid the weird sound while sliding? And that's a great question. And in the guitar community, we call that string noise. Sounds like this. Right? Whenever you're playing something that you have to keep your hands on the strings and you slide around a lot, you have string noise. So like if I'm doing this, I find it when I play this a lot. I get a lot of string noise. That. So we got that that sound. There's a couple of things you can do to get rid of that, and I'm going to tell you something that my teacher used to do. His name was John DeChiaro. He's still around. He's a very famous classical guitarist. But what he used to do, and people used to think he was praying when he did this, but he was not praying. He would take his hand and put it on his forehead like this. And he would get the oil from his forehead. It's kind of gross. He would get the oil from his forehead on his fingers so that there would be less string noise when he played. And me and John actually had an extensive conversation about string noise once. He said somebody complained about string noise on one of his albums. And, while we were talking about that, we both agreed that this just kind of a sound that, yeah, of course I had a teacher. It's for you, for real. Of course, yeah, I had a teacher. Yeah, I taught myself for a long time, but then, I actually have a master's degree in classical guitar, so I had a teacher there. So I went and studied classical guitar with Giovanni DeChiaro, and before he would play, to get rid of some of that string noise, he would take the oils from his forehead, and that would get rid of some of the string noise. Now, it's impossible to get rid of all of the string noise, because it's part of the romantic sound of the guitar. The sound of the guitar is string noise. It's all part of it. Stacy, how's it going? Good to see you here. Stacy says, hello. Hello, Stacy. There we go. So, string noise. If you rub and get some of the oil from your forehead, that'll cut down on the string noise. See, that's a lot quieter now that I've rubbed my forehead. Great question, though. Like I said, the Instagram ticker is going pretty fast, so if you posted a question, I might not have seen it. So just post it on there a couple times. I'm kind of looking back and forth here. I have two different places where comments are coming in. But thanks, everybody, for joining me today. Again, we're talking about guitar. We're having beginner guitar talk. Somebody asked me that I play Wonderwall. Well, you have to have a capo to play Wonderwall, so... So Roboto asked a really good question. Roboto says, do you have any tips on switching chords smoothly, especially shifting from a long distance? Well, I'm trying to think of an example where you would switch from a long distance, but I can tell you from an open chord perspective, what I like to focus on, especially in my guitar lessons, I like to focus on looking at what's the same in between the chords. So let's just take a G and C, for instance. We have a G. If you look, you take your pinky off. If you move these two fingers up and then add your first finger, you have a C chord, right? So if you look at that movement, it's all about movement. A lot of people don't realize this one. When you go to the D chord, watch this. You take these all the way to the bottom, same shape, and you add that, you have the D chord. Right? That's one that we don't talk about a lot. Then back, 2, 3, 4. But I look at what's the same. And it all depends on what you're playing. Like I had a discussion with a student. We're learning the piece Romanza, and it goes... And there's this really hard passage. Well, it's not a super hard passage, but we talked about, as a classical guitarist, we used to have this discussion where if you're coming up on a really hard part of a piece, you slow it down. Let me do it. Let me try it again. Let me do it good. Let me do it good. Slow it down. And it sounds like you're just, that your musicianship's coming out, but really you're slowing it down so that you can play the piece nice and clean. So that's a little classical guitar trick. If you see a classical guitarist that slows down a passage quite a bit to make it sound very, very, to bring out the musicianship, they might just be anticipating that hard passage. Stacy says, I can't for the life of me find the Purple Rain I posted. What were the chords? Right at this second, Stacy, I can't recall what the chords were to Purple Rain, but I will see if I can repost that video. I'm always looking for stuff to redo, so I'll see if I can redo that, okay? So again, thanks to everybody for joining me today. This is Beginner Guitar Talk with Chevans Music. If you have a question about guitar, you know, just throw it there in the comments. I got Instagram over here. I got Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Everybody's over here. So, play Through the Fire and Flames. Oh my goodness. Asking quite a bit of me here at 10:43 in the morning. So Philip says, played a couple dozen chords 15 years ago, but never got good. Got frustrated and gave up. Self-taught doesn't work well. I might restring my guitar and sit in with you a time or two to see if it helps learning from someone. Well, nowadays, with YouTube readily available and all the different social media platforms, there's a million guitar teachers out there. You know, this is what I'm put on this earth to do. I'm put on this earth to bring people to the guitar. But there's tons of information out there now. Back when I first started playing, there wasn't really anything. You know, there wasn't one place to go. If I'd had YouTube back when I first started, I would be a much better guitarist now because that information would be readily available. I know you guys have heard that before. Let's go ahead. Let's learn another tune. Let's see what we got here. Let's learn another tune. Let's see. We did Demons by Imagine Dragons. Let's do Lose Control by Teddy Swims. This is a really great tune. It's a new tune as well. So what we're going to do here, we're going to put our capo up on the 2nd fret. And if you haven't heard this song, go listen to it. Let's see, here we go. So we got E minor. That's the first chord, capo up on the 2nd fret. We're going to take fingers 2 and 3, put them on the 2nd fret relative to the capo on strings A and D. Strum all the strings. All right, and then this great movement here. We're going to move out to a full G. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways you can go to there. We're going to go to a simple G first. We're going to keep our 2nd finger here. Take your 3rd finger out here to the 3rd fret, low E, and add your pinky. So we were talking about movements just a second ago, and this is a really great, easy movement from E minor to G. Look, just move that out, add your pinky. There we go. Or you could go to this full G that I have written on the page, E minor. And then we're going to kind of blow everything up and go 1st finger, A string, 2nd fret, 2nd finger, 3rd fret, low E, and then add your 3rd and 4th up here to the high E and B 3rd fret. And there we have that full G. So we got E minor, out to a G, and a G, and then to a C chord, right? So we're going to take our we're going to take our pinky off, move these down 1 string just as they are, add your 1st finger to the 1st fret, B string, strum from the A string down, and then we have a bar chord. We're going to do a B7 suspended bar chord, and we're going to resolve it. So the first thing let's put our bar up on the 2nd fret. All right, let's make sure that sounds good. Now, what I like to do when I'm teaching bar chords is, rather than put your finger straight on, see if you can turn it to the side. There we go. And then we're going to add our 2nd finger to the 2nd fret outside of the bar, and then our pinky to the 3rd fret, and that's the suspension. Ooh. And it's going to resolve. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then bring it back in to resolve. So here we go. We got 2, E minor, then to a G, and then to a C, and then to a 7 suspended, and then resolve. Now let's see what we can do with some of that strumming. We're going to go down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. And when we go to the B7, I like to do this. Down, down. Oh, let me get it right. Down, 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 down. Let me show you what I'm doing there for that cool strumming. We're going to do it on an E minor. I'm just strumming the low strings, getting that low string sound, and then strumming everything, but I'm stopping the strings with the palm of my hand. I'm going down, down, and I'm stopping the strings with my right hand. I do this a lot. Up, down, down, up, down, up, and then to a G. All right, and that is Lose Control by Teddy Swims. I hope that helped. Remember, if you're watching this, you'll always be able to go back and rewatch this on YouTube and Facebook. I think it stays there. I'm not sure if it stays on Instagram. Maybe it does. But I know it'll live on YouTube. So if you ever want to go back and rewatch anything we're doing here in this live, you can go back and rewatch those. So let me read some of the comments here. It's fine, easier to stick. W.S. Meller, Waller? Sorry if I mess up everybody's name. Thanks for all the inspiration, my son, and enjoy watching you and playing together. That's fantastic, my friend. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate that. Philip says, stars, I need to learn how to do that. I have no idea. That's something Facebook does. You know, if you want to support, that's their big, you know, you can support this creator with stars, which is totally not necessary. You don't have to do that, but it's greatly appreciated if you want to support me with stars. It's like, I think it's like Twitch. You could get crystals or something. It's like Facebook's version of that. But again, not required. But I just really appreciate everybody getting on here playing and watching and learning. That's the best part for me. All right, Instagram. I'm watching over here on Instagram. If you have a question, I'm going to see if I can give Instagram a little love over here. Throw a question in the comments really quick. If you have something you want me to address. Kivank says, hello from Turkey. Hello. From Mississippi. And Tofu... Tafashraf says from India. I am so sorry. I messed up everybody's usernames. Sorry about that. Hello, India from Mississippi. Yoni Nicho from Florida. I love Florida. My wife is a huge Disney fanatic. Almost annoyingly so. Max87 says, how do you play Hotel California? There's a bunch of different ways you can play it. The most widely accepted is to do it in B minor. So you got your B minor, 2, 3, down to an F sharp major. So you just shift everything down. Let me see if I can get that off the screen. Hang on one second. There we go. So you got your B minor, 2, 3, 4, and then down. And then you could go up to an A bar, but you could also do this. And then to an E minor. And then to a G. To a D, back to E minor, and then a little bit like the Teddy Swims tune, we're going to do a suspension here on the F sharp 7. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. To an A, to an E minor, down, up, up, down. To a G, to a D, E minor again, F sharp 7, and resolve. And that's just a quick little lesson on Hotel California. There are many different ways to play it. everybody kind of plays it different, even the Eagles. So when they do it on stage, you know, it might be a little bit different. 180 Felix Stowe Hunter says, let's have some Down on a Corner. I don't know what key that's in. Like, I could play it if I knew what key it's in. I could do this. See if I could do it. I got Fortunate Son. And then that red, white, blue. I got that. Hail to the chief. They point the finger at you. It ain't me. Go up to a D. It ain't me. No Fortunate Son. Nah. But that's a great song. You know, you got that iconic intro. So we got 3, 4. And there's an example of sliding. You could grab some of your oil up there, so you wouldn't have that string noise. 3, 4, 3, 4. Boom, boom. 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Boom, boom. And then you have power chords. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to play power chords. A lot of people have trouble laying both their fingers down, so this is the typical way you play power chords here. I'm doing it on acoustic. Right? So you put your, say we're doing a G power chord. You're going to put your first finger on the 3rd fret low E, and that's really the only thing you have to hold here. Because everything else with the 3rd finger, you're going to hold with the hitch bar on the A and D strings. And you just want these 3 to go, right? Now, a lot of people have trouble with that, so I'll modify it sometimes, and I'll have it like this, 3 and 4. And you can play a power chord that way. Now, the problem with that is if you ever want to do the blues in a different key other than A or E, you have to do this. Alright, so you want to keep your pinky free rather than have it hooked there. So just a quick observation on that. All right, so let's have our first discussion question. Let me throw this up here. So what strings do you use? Throw it in the comments. Let's discuss. As you all know, I am an Elixir string artist. I use exclusively Elixir strings. But before I was an Elixir artist, I used D'Addario. I've used Martin strings. I've used just about Earth strings. I've used just about any kind of string you can think of. So what kind of strings do you use? Throw them in the comments. I'm always getting questions about exactly what strings I use. So let me show you. I use D'Addario. It's not these. The wrong one's not D'Addario. Let's see if I can find a good pack of the strings. I have a whole thing of strings over here. Let's see here. Is that the right ones? Yeah. I use these. Elixir 12 to 53. See if I can get it to focus in. Of course it's not. All right. Elixir 12 to 53 lights. These are the strings that I use. Yeah, and before I used Elixir, I used D'Addario, but then I bought a Taylor. And I'm not sure if they still use Elixir strings, but I bought a Taylor guitar, and it came with Elixir strings on it. And as soon as I played it, I was like, whoa. These are the best strings I've ever played. I literally sat down at and brought up the Googles and typed in what strings do they ship Taylor guitars with, and it was Elixir strings, and I've been happy ever since. So if you're wondering what brand of strings I recommend, the ones that just blew me away are Elixir strings, and I'm proud to be an Elixir artist. It is it's a brand I can get behind. They make a really great product. I have lots of guitars. If you have lots of guitars and you don't want to have to change strings all the time, grab some Elixir strings. They last a long time, and they sound great. They do the 2 things that strings need to do. So I can't say enough good things about Elixir strings. So let's see. Let's get to some of our questions here. So Bruce says, Chaz, Evans, Chaz, I love your show. Thanks. What are the chords for She Talks to Angels by the Black Crowes? Man, that is a great song. I played it once a long time ago. And from what I can recall, it had some alternate tuning. If anybody can throw in the comments what that alternate tuning was. Like I played it like 6 or 7 years ago. I used to direct a rock and roll band. And we did that song, She Talks to Angels. Great song. And I remember playing the acoustic to it, but I remember it had a really strange tuning, which made it easier to play, but it's I can't tell you exactly what chords are. Great question, though. I'm going to see if I can make a video on that, so stay tuned. I'll see if I can make a short. Lois says, hi. Hi, Lois. And then Lois says she's from Texas. Texas is fantastic. I love Texas. How's it going? Thanks for watching. Felix Stowe Hunter says, I've recently put extra light Ernie balls on my Ibanez and something isn't right. Uh-oh. The gap is massive between the fretboard and strings, too scared to mess with the truss rod. You know, if you put strings on there and you change the gauge, and this is something, if you have a floating trim, if you put a really strong gauge on there that your springs aren't ready for, and I've had this before. I changed my strings on a Fender Strat, and as a kid, I didn't want to break strings because I couldn't go to the music store very often. So I bought a really thick string, and it pulled the fretboard like straight up on my Fender Strat. Because, you know, if you drastically change the string gauge on your electric guitar, and your springs in the back on the floating bridge are not ready for it, it'll pull that bridge up. And that may be what's happening with you. I would check the gauge strings that you put on there. Like if you put like 12s or 13s on there. On electric, typically you want to put like 9s, 8s. Well, maybe not 8s. 8s will break like immediately. 9s or 10s. I usually play with 10s. So check that. I would check that first. Damon says, you inspired me to buy a guitar. Well, fantastic. I'm glad you're getting a guitar. That's great. If guitar is your thing and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I do guitar tutorials on YouTube Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You'll have something new to watch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, I try and do a live stream where I answer everybody's questions. And that's just at random times. I'm going to eventually nail down an exact time, but my days are so hectic that like I have so many different things to do during the day that I never know when I'm going to be able to live stream. So I'm going to see if I can nail down a time for everybody to come watch. But thanks. If you're not subscribed, please go subscribe. And good luck with your guitar, Damon. That's fantastic. Anthony says, what's up, brother? You good at guitar playing and I'm still learning. That's fantastic, my friend. You keep on picking. And remember, guitar is not something that you're going to learn in 5 minutes. You know, it takes a little while. Otherwise, everybody would play guitar and it wouldn't be, you know, it wouldn't be that special. Everybody would be able to do it. So take your time, be patient with yourself, and learn to play the guitar. And then it's a companion for life. I love the guitar. It's helped me so much in my life. Bruce says, you're the best. No, Bruce, you're the best. Keep on picking, my friend. So, again, thanks, everybody, for watching. Let's learn another tune. Let's see what we've got here in the hopper. Let's do Riptide by Vance Joy. This is a really good song for beginners, especially. We're going to put our capo up on the 1st fret. Now, my capo has a really a spring that's dying. So you see how it's not holding the strings quite enough, so I kind of have to fiddle with it to get it to sound good. There we go. If your capo has gotten this bad, you need to go buy another capo. And that advice is for me as well. Go buy another capo. So Stacy says she found it. That's great. That's great. I'm going to repost it anyway. So I'm always looking for stuff to redo. So it sounds like I need to do Purple Rain again. Great song anyway. So here we go. Let's learn Riptide by Vance Joy. We're going to make some very simple open chords. We're going to make an A minor first. Take your first finger, put it up on the 2nd string B. Put it up on the 1st fret B, which is the 2nd string. Sorry about that. 2 and 3 are going to go out here on the 2nd fret D and G string. Strum from the A string down. Great chord. Then we're going to move into a G. Now we talked earlier about movements. We're going to take our 1st finger off. Take your 3rd finger off as well. And if you look at your 2nd finger, it's in line to just move down 1 string. Be on that A, and then you can add your other 2 fingers for the G. So 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, low E, pinky on the high E 3rd fret, strum all the strings, right? And my favorite movement in guitar, remember, if you're having trouble changing chords, this is the greatest movement ever. Take your pinky off, move this shape up the strings, one string, and add your first finger to the first fret B string, and you're right there at the C chord from a G. Super common movement. Matter of fact, you could just change G to C over and over. G to C. There we go. So let's play this. See one more time. Let's put some strumming to this. So it's going to be down on the bass strings, down on the treble strings, and then up, down, up. So let's do it on an A minor. So it'd be up, down, up, to a G, to a C, and then A minor, G. Oh, not to a D. Wrong chord. A minor, G, then to a C. Up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Somebody asked me the other day why I shook the guitar like that. I love the vibrato sound it makes. I love that. You shake a little bit, it vibrates. All right, so let's keep going. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me today. If you're just now joining us, this is Beginner Guitar Talk with Chevans Music, and I just every Tuesday, Thursday, I want to get on here and kind of talk with everybody and see if you have any questions, if there's anything we need to talk about, because I truly want you to learn the guitar. I really care. That's why I was put on this planet, is to teach people to play the guitar. So Doug asked a really great question. Doug says, what exercises do you recommend to strengthen the left hand fingers? And this is going to be a very common answer to this question. The spider walk. If you have ever heard of the spider walk, I'm going to show you what it is right now, but it's the simplest, most effective, and that's usually the most effective thing. It's the simplest thing. There's no big secret to working out the left hand. It's just doing the spider walk. Let's start up on the 5th fret with our first finger. We're going to pluck down with the pick on the low E. Then we're going to add our 2nd finger to the 6th fret low E and pluck up. And you keep doing that, down, up. Now, notice, here's the part of the exercise that's hard. You know, like when you're lifting weights, you have to do correct form. Same kind of thing with these left-hand exercises. If you don't do the correct form, it's not going to help you nearly as much. So you want to keep these down. And then move to the next string, all at the same time. Open, down, up, and then move to the next one. Down, up. It's not the, it's not the flashiest, coolest exercise in the world, but that is the best way to work out your left hand. Especially from a beginner's perspective. This exercise is not hard to understand, and it's really good for you. It teaches you the set and play, set and play, set and play. There's so much that it teaches you and you don't even realize it. But when you can play it really well, when you get all the way to the top, you just shift up one and go back up and down. Now watch this. This is a part that a lot of people leave out. You go up a string, up a fret rather, and you go down the fretboard again. Now watch this. I go up and start over. Up and again. There we go. So you could go all the way up the fretboard. Now back when I taught guitar at a music store here in Mississippi a long time ago, let's say 30 years. 30 years ago, I started teaching when I was super duper young. I would teach that to people, and what I would recommend back when we had commercials on television, and I guess you have commercials on YouTube and stuff now, you would play during a commercial break, right? You would start this during a commercial break. Even on electric guitar, you don't even have to be plugged in. And you would see how far up the neck you could get during a commercial break. And that was a cool little exercise you could do. So, if you're sitting watching YouTube or something and you got it up on the screen there and an ad comes on, let the ad play and go on up. See how far you can get up all the way up. But I found, that's the best thing for your left hand. That's the absolute best thing, which is the simplest, non-coolest answer ever to your what exercises strengthen the left hand fingers. The answer to most guitar questions is how do I get better at guitar is hands on strings. You play the guitar, and there may be a twist or a turn that I can make here or there, but for the most part, it's just keep playing the guitar and you will get better at it. Stacy says, have an awesome day, Chaz. Thanks for the lesson, Stacy. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Virgil says, awesome, man. I really appreciate you, Virgil. So Felix Stone Hunter says, my boy is 12. He just started. What do you recommend he focus on more? So if you're just starting out the guitar, 12 is a great age. I started a little bit earlier than that. But that's okay. That not to say that, but 12 is a great age to start. Your hands are developed enough to where they can reach all the strings and stuff like that, reach around the frets. I would say focus on common chords. Chords, no matter what you're doing, work their way into guitar. Even if you're a shredder, you're still that basic chord. So focus on chords. Chords and strumming to start. Learn your 4 basic chords, which is G, C, D, and E minor. And just play those over and over. Strum G 4 times. 1, 2. And move to a C. Then to a D. And then an E minor. And then switch them up. G to a D. To an E minor. And a C. But no matter what you're doing on guitar, it all boils back down to chords somehow. So that's a really good thing to focus on. Great question. I appreciate all the questions. If you have something up here, let me give Instagram a little love. Instagram, if you have a question, throw it up here, and I'll see if I can answer that really quick. I can't put them up on the screen because I'm using this software that, for some reason, doesn't incorporate Instagram questions for some reason. So if you have a question, throw it in the chat, and I will answer that post haste. So Tommy says, wow, that was cool. Thank you. No problem, Tommy. Thanks for watching. Hi from Bridgeton, East Yorkshire, UK. You're a late learner. That's all right. Better late than never, my friend. Keep on picking. Really glad you found the guitar. It's never too late to start learning. I teach guitar privately, and a lot of my students are people who are retired. It's people that finally have time. They're not going to work all the time, and they have time to do what they want to do. So this is a great time for you to learn the guitar. If you're retired, if you're not, it's okay too. Proud of you. Keep on picking, my friend. So Mike says, is there a tool to help your finger reach on the fretboard? Again, the answer to this is it's not a flashy one. It's just fingers on strings. I will tell you this. I do play a tune called Blackbird, and Paul McCartney does this little riff. I play it like this because I like to teach this stretch. Paul McCartney plays it like this. And he does it like that. I think I've seen him do that. But in order to teach that stretch, I teach Blackbird early on. And I teach this big, huge stretch right here. Yeah, people don't realize it when I'm teaching it, but I'm actually getting their hand to stretch a little bit so that those reaches aren't so crazy. So, go out there, see if you can find Blackbird. That's a really good one to practice your stretches to. Tommy says, I'm late 50s, just started to play. I've been checking out your YouTube. Well, thanks a lot, Tommy. I appreciate that. I've become a lot more active on YouTube. I put out videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if you're looking for new content, I have guitar lessons on there. I do song tutorials, all kinds of stuff. Every Tuesday, Thursday, I try and stream and talk to people like Tommy. I try to get on here and answer questions anybody might have, or just guitar talk in general. So I appreciate you, Tommy. Thanks so much. So Rob says, man, you make it look easy for a big guy with big fingers. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. It's sometimes it's tough on basic bar chords. I'm not a shredder, but I've gotten a lot better, and we'll say I'm toward the intermediate now, which is great. And I had carpal tunnel surgery in both hands earlier this year and had a tendon surgery on my left hand. Oh, my goodness. Well, that's good. Take it easy. You don't want to hurt your hands and, re-mess things up. You don't want to do that. I probably myself need to have carpal tunnel surgery, but I'm afraid to because of what it might do to my hand strength, because this is my livelihood. If I can't teach guitar, I can't make videos, I can't do anything. So all right, Instagram, if you have any questions, throw them up there and I will get to that. Let's learn one more tune. Let's do another tune, and then we'll have another discussion question. How about that? So we did Riptide. Let's do This Is the Life by Amy McDonald. Let me see if I can get that to come up a little bit. We're going to put our capo on the 4th fret. So let's do that. Capo 1, 2, 3, 4th fret right there. And we've been making A minor all day. But I'm going to walk you through it really quick. And remember, all of this is recorded. If you want to go back and rewatch any of this stuff, this will live on YouTube. Go check out my YouTube channel, Chevans Music, on YouTube. While you're there, see if you can subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. I'm trying to do more on YouTube and become a YouTuber. So go check out all that stuff. I'm going to put this live up there, and it'll be listed as a live with this date. So let's make it A minor. First finger is going to be on the 1st fret B string. 2nd and 3rd out here on the D and G string. Strum from the A string down. Ooh, A minor. Then we're going to go into an F major 7. So I'm all about chord movement, right? And this is something that guitar players have a lot of trouble with. The guitar teachers, for some reason, don't talk about. They say, okay, make an A minor chord. And now you make an F major 7 chord. Well, how do you get there from an A minor to an F major 7? Let's talk about that. We're going to keep our 1st finger where it is. We want to be as efficient as possible in our movements. We're going to take our 3rd finger off, move our 2nd finger down, 3rd and 4th finger out here on the 3rd fret A and D, strum from the A string down. So if you're really having trouble with these movements, the way to get better at them is to practice just the movement. A minor, move to F major 7. A minor, move to F major 7. A minor, F major 7. Now let's move to a C chord. We're going to take our pinky off, move our 2nd finger down the strings towards my face, 1 string, and look, you're right at the C chord. So then if you're having trouble with that, you just practice this movement. F major 7 to a C. And then in E minor, we're just going to kind of blow everything up. Fingers 2 and 3 on the A and D string, 2nd fret. E minor is one of those you could pretty much get to from anywhere. So let's go through the chords. A minor, 1, 2. F major 7, 2, 3. Then to a C. And then an E minor, 2, 3. And back to A minor. F major 7. Then to a C, and then to E minor. All right, let's talk about that strumming. I'm going to do it muted because it's easier to hear. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. I'm going to do it one more time. A little slower. Here we go. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Let's see if we can put this on the chord. So we have A minor, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, C, and E minor. This song is really fast. I'm going to play it up to speed really quick and show you how fast it is. But, you can always take it slow to start with. So here we go. And that is This Is the Life by Amy McDonald. Thanks, everybody, for joining me today for Guitar Talk. I've had a really good time. I hope you have too. Let's have another discussion question really quick. Let's see what we've got here. We talked about what strings you use. Let's try this. Acoustic or electric guitar? You know, my answer is, I have a degree in classical guitar. I loved the acoustic when I first started playing, so, I kind of lean towards acoustic guitar. I can play electric. I love playing electric guitar as well. But the beauty of the acoustic, for some reason, just draws me in. So which one do you prefer? Aaron16 says, you inspired me to play guitar. Well, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. I'm glad to have brought you to the guitar. That's really good. The guitar, as long as you play it, it's a friend for life. Never let you down. Open lots of doors for you. It helps you make friends. It's a very social thing. So, acoustic, electric, I definitely prefer acoustic. Let's keep going here. So, real quick. So, if you're watching this after the fact, drop in the comments like what band I should cover next, because I'll go back and look at the comments. So let me know what I should be doing in these lives. What's something that you want to see in the lives, and I'll make sure that I can put it up there for you. Also, I want to let everybody know that I teach private lessons. If you're interested in private lessons, just grab that email address, shoot me an email. I'd love to speak with you about that. So the dude who does not core says, I have an electric, but I use a Spark amp and use acoustic presets more. That's cool. That's cool, man. I like that a lot. Bruce says, acoustic doesn't require electricity or an amp. Yeah, it is a bit cheaper, especially if you're getting started. You don't have to buy all the different peripherals. You don't need a cable. You don't need an amp. So it is a little bit more user-friendly, beginner-friendly. My biggest issues are finger spreading. You seem to hit 2 strings at a time. I know, keep practicing. Yeah, of course, keep practicing, but the thing that would probably help you is that spider walk that we talked about earlier. That's another thing that it helps. It helps you identify what you need is muscle memory on the fingers. Down, up, down, up. Try that spider walk for a week. I guarantee you will get better. You have the Chevans music, guarantee that will get better. So Rob says, I prefer electric, but it's just me. Every once in a while, I do like an acoustic sound. Well, that's fantastic, man. Like I said, I do both. I play acoustic and electric. So, absolutely. And Virgil says, what is an easy way to tell the difference between flat and sharp on the chords? Well, you have to realize flat and sharp, the way I look at them, and the way you can look at them as well. Flat and sharp is just the direction, right? Sharp is up in pitch, flat is down in pitch. So if I have an A up here on the 5th fret, flat, down 1 fret, sharp, up 1 fret, A sharp. Now then we're also talking about inharmonic tones, because if you started on B and you went down a fret, that's B flat, but it's also A sharp. So sharp and flat are basically a direction. It's a direction. It's a simple way to put it. There's a little more to it when you study music and you get into key signatures and things like that. But sharp and flat for the guitar, for you, what you need to know mainly is it's just a direction, up or down. So great question. So if you're interested in private lessons, shoot me an email at Chaz Evans Guitarist. I would love to speak with you about that. Also, if you're a beginner, I have a course called Guitar 101, and that will be linked in the description. It's also in my bio. I have a link tree in my bio if you want to go check out Guitar 101. It's only $12 a month, and it's a fantastic deal for beginner guitar players. If you're looking for a place that has everything all in one spot for you to grab everything and get from A to Z in guitar, go check out Guitar 101. It's it's probably the best deal on the internet for guitarists. It also includes a private class, a guitar class on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central with me, where you can get on there, ask questions. I can actually see you play if that's what you want. You don't have to, but I can see you play and give you tips and help you out. So that's something that you get with Guitar 101, so check it out. Lastly, do you have any questions before I let everybody go? I'm going to play a little bit. And we'll talk, a little bit if you have some questions. All right, so if you have any questions or concerns or anything and you're watching this after the fact, post them in the comments. I would love to speak with you about that. Thanks for watching, everybody. This will kind of end the live stream for today. And remember, grab a guitar and keep on picking.